Well, hello and welcome on in, hockey fans, to the Freeport Recreation Center in Freeport, Long Island. And we've got a good one for you tonight. The New York City Raiders have hit the road just before their winter break, traveled on the Long Island Expressway, and ended up here in Freeport for the return game against the Long Island Enforcers. The Enforcers come into this tournament-bound state game with an in-division record of 2-7-1, most recently having beaten Nutley Clifton by a score of 5-2 last weekend outside of the division, and the Long Island Kings by a score of 6-2 on December 4th. The Enforcers have also tied the Long Island Mustangs on that same day, with both teams potting 4 goals. As such, the Enforcers' in-division record is a bit misleading, as they are very much a team on the ascendance. The Enforcers may also have played the Peconic Wildcats this morning, but the out-of-town scoreboard is not yet updated, so no results on that one for you as of yet. The Raiders come into this game looking to right the ship. While they are 6-2 in the division, they dropped a close one against the Rinks last Saturday at World Ice Arena by a score of 6-2. The Raiders also dropped another tight one against the Aviator Hockey Club AA team last Saturday by a score of 4-2. As such, the Raiders would love to end their 2-game slide today in Freeport, Long Island. Programming note for you, subject to carrier restrictions and availability, Midnight Sports will have tomorrow's Raiders game for you starting at 5:10 p.m. as the Raiders stay out on Long Island to take on the Long Island Kings at Superior Ice Rink in Kings Park, New York. Make sure to join us for that one as well. But right now, stick around. Period 1's puck drop coming up next just after this extended warm-up right here on Midnight Sports. Well, as the clock winds down, just 30 seconds left to go here in warm-ups, gives us time to visit with our first sponsor this evening. Today's game on Midnight Sports is brought to you by Saying Sorry When You Don't Mean It. Hockey fans, from when we were young enough to play tag at recess all the way until now and beyond, we've all had to learn a very valuable skill. That's right, it's saying sorry when you don't mean it. How many times has someone been mad at you and rather than offer an empty apology, you've argued back? Has it ever worked for you? I didn't think so. Instead, you've then had to make a heartfelt apology with actual meaning. But if you had just immediately given an, "Oh, I'm sorry," you could have nipped that problem in the bud. It's saying sorry when you don't mean it, when being sincerely insincere can fix a lot of problems. Well, certainly that has nothing to do with my personal life, hockey fans. But in any event, we're going to get set here as the Raiders collect around their net to go over some last-second strategy and discuss who's going to pick up the pucks. Meantime, the Enforcers are doing the same at their end as we just wait to get set. Some Enforcers in the net, some at the bench, still getting warmed up there. We've got the music blaring behind. But it looks like the Raiders are all set in front of their cage, and we'll see which goalie stays out there to take the net for those Raiders here tonight. We'll come to the bench for some last-minute strategy sessions here. Our mics won't pick that strategy up. Wouldn't want to give anyone an advantage, either team, that is. And it looks like Speaker's going to stay out there, and he'll get the start this evening out here in Freeport, Long Island. Over the boards comes Meyerowicz, Koslewski, and Steinfink, with Gosler and Marchuka as well. And there's 15 minutes put on the board. It's period 1. It's Raiders, it's Enforcers, and it's right here on Midnight Sports. Puck drop coming up right now. Music's off. Scorekeeper about to be checked. Goalie's about to be checked. Parents are into it. And we're going to get that whistle. There we go. Both goalies checked. And we are off and running. Marchuka wins that forward. Enforcers take over in the neutral zone and try and chop it up deeper. Instead, Schlefsky comes away with it, works it deeper. Comes to Marchuka in the low slide. It's all Marchuka. He goes up and over. And that's a Raiders goal to start us off here. Just 10 seconds into this hockey game, the Raiders are on the board. Immediate pay dirt there for Luke Marchuka, as Schlefsky was able to work the puck over to him into the slot. And the Raiders notch their first goal 10 seconds into this one. Marchuka on the ensuing faceoff. Puck's won through the neutral zone. The Enforcers come right through into the offensive zone. It's all Enforcers now in the offensive zone as they circle around the net. Speaker slides over to cover the near post. Some good defensive work there by Marchuka, and Steinfink keeps that out. Tipped in front, doesn't come through. Now it's Gossler all over his man behind the cage. Still Gossler there as the puck sits momentarily at the end boards. Puck now wrapped around weak side. Meyerowicz will pick it up on the backhand. Puck's jammed farther, but cut out neatly there by Steinfink. Puck comes all the way around to the weak side. It's chopped in farther at first by the Enforcers. Gossler now tries to use the boards to get that out. Hits a man right in front of the Raiders bench as our TV vantage point. And now the puck comes out of the zone. The Enforcers clear the zone and dump right back in. Gossler now over into the near corner. Try and pick up the puck. He finds his man there, and now Meyerowicz fires in. Excuse me, that's Marchuka behind the net. He'll pick up the puck on his forehand and skate that out of the zone himself. He's now through the neutral zone, is Marchuka. He's going all 200 feet right now. He's rounded his man. He's in all alone. He tries to go up and over the shoulder, and then he sends one right back out. The one-timer doesn't connect at first, and then it's covered there as the Enforcers don't like a few extra chops when the puck was loose in front of the net. We'll get a stoppage in play at 13:41 left to go here in the first period. It's going to be an offensive zone draw for the Raiders. They had a nice look at it there at the offensive end, just could not get stick on puck fast enough, and we'll get some new skaters out there for the Raiders. It's Pizarro, Berliner, and Vigliotti as the forward lines. Hanoff and Hyder out there as well. Raiders win that faceoff. It's Pizarro trying to swing that over to the slot. He finds Vigliotti there, who gets tripped up by his man. No call coming, and the Enforcers will get that out of the zone. They're across the blue line are the Enforcers. They come right through the neutral zone with some speed, and then they dump in. It goes wide of the cage, and the Raiders pick it up there on the forehand. Vigliotti now at the half wall finds Berliner, and Berliner digs that over to Pizarro, gains the offensive zone. Pizarro on the forehand, tries to go around his man. Enforcers cut that out, and they turn it right back the other way, but only so far as Hyder. Hyder now on the puck. Works that over to Vigliotti. Vigliotti on the forehand. He sends a long shot in off the chest of the Enforcers goaltender, and the Enforcers get to the rebound first and then work that up to the far point, but no farther. Hyder now bounces one in on goal. It's going to be covered there, and the Enforcers goaltender goes after Vigliotti after the whistle, and he's going to get a little bit of a talking to here from the referee to stop chopping at the players. 12:55 left to go here in the first. It's Raiders 1, Enforcers 0. It's going to be an offensive zone draw, as the Raiders will make a change, and it'll be Gossler and Steinfink out there as the defensive pair. Raiders win that forward. It comes over to the slot. Quick shot comes in, and it's not covered yet. Now it is by the Enforcers goaltender. Quick shot there by the Raiders. Sees that puck stopped, and we get another stoppage in play at 12:46 left to go here in the first period. Well, puck's ensuing face-off, one back to the far point, and then dumped in farther. Marchuka now has the puck on his forehand, looks for someone in the slot, hits a skate there, and now Kalemba fires in to pick up the loose change at the end boards. Comes over to the near corner now, and cycled right back over to Kalemba. Kalemba kicks it to himself, takes a heavy hit there in the corner, and Marchuka in for support, picks up the puck, sends a long pass over to the weak side. Looks like Meyerowicz tries to pick it up over there. He turns with the puck on his forehand. Still on his forehand into the slot. Doesn't connect, and the Enforcers now break out the other way. They've got a 3-on-2 developing the other way. Puck sits at the blue line, and then the Enforcers will be offside after it was chopped out there by Steinfink and Gossler. So with 12:04 left to go in the first, it's going to be a face-off just outside the Raiders' zone. It's going to be Pizarro, Fauci, Tanoff, Hyder, and Berliner as the 5 skaters. Berliner now stands over the dot. He wins that face-off back to Pizarro, and it's sent up by Hyder, looking for a Raiders stick. Instead, cut out by the Enforcers, dumped in, but only so far as Hyder, who turns the puck right the other way again, and the Enforcers will have to track it back down in their own zone as icing's waved off. Pizarro all over his man, looking into the slot for a pass, tries a tight angle shot, misses all bodies in front, and Hyder keeps the puck in the offensive zone. Still Raiders in the offensive zone. Now the puck comes to an enforcer. It's taken out of the play, and a long shot hits a stick in front. Then it finds Fauci, and it goes in. Oh, my. That is a Raiders goal. The Raiders score there with just 11:34 left to go here in the first. That's a Matthew Fauci goal. Picked up the loose change in the mid-slot, and he doubles the Raiders' lead just like that. Ensuing face-off. All the skaters to stay out there, and it'll be Berliner again over the dot. He wins that forward. Enforcers take over at their own blue line, and now try to move the puck farther into the neutral zone. Unable to do so at first, and now the Enforcers do come into the offensive zone. Chopped out there by Hyder, leaves it for Berliner. Berliner cycles back into his zone to keep possession of the puck. Hyder looking at Tanoff first, and then tries a long diagonal pass, finds Bizarro, can only chop it a little bit farther before the Enforcers are all over him. With some support from Fauci. Now Fauci breaks into the offensive zone. It's Fauci leaving something into the slot there for Berliner, who comes over and guides that puck farther and deeper. Now the Raiders are buzzing. Bizarro now has the puck in the near corner. He looks to turn that into the slot. Instead, the puck just sits there, and it's dumped out by the Enforcers, and so the Raiders have to turn and pick this puck up before the Enforcers get to it. It's Hyder now on the puck. He's on the forehand in his own zone. He's going to use the boards to get this puck up, but not out just yet. It's passed forward. That was a hand pass, though. So we'll get a stoppage in play at 11:37 left to go in this game. The clock continues to run. I don't think the clock operator ran the clock to start, so they're going to run off a few seconds here to try and get us back on time. Clock continues to roll with 11:21 left to go. And we're back to it. Gosser turns back into his own end after the Enforcers jump that face-off in. It's Gosser who's able to chip that over to Kalemba. Kalemba picks up the puck there, tries to work the puck up farther. Still not out yet until Kalemba tries a second shot at it and does get it out. He gets it to Marchuka. Marchuka into the slot. Marchuka finds Koslewski, who tries to go up and over the shoulder, misses the cage, and the Enforcers look to pick up the puck in the near corner. They only make it so far as Gosser dumps the puck right back in. Gosser dumps the puck in, and the Enforcers take over and send that puck up and out of the zone. The Enforcers now into the offensive zone. They're in on speaker. They try a quick backhand. The puck sits there, and then it's tapped in. It's tapped in, and the Enforcers get right on the board. So that's an Enforcers goal. It's 2-1. They've cut the Raiders' lead in half with 10:51 left to go here in the first. We've got ourselves a hockey game. Ensuing faceoff's going to be Marchuka, Kalemba, Koslewski, Hyder, and Tanoff. Marchuka with the puck there. He wins it forward to himself. He's into the offensive zone. He curls around his man. He's looking into the slot. He finds Koslewski. Bouncing puck just comes off his stick and wide of the cage. He cycles it back over to Marchuka. Marchuka picks up in the near half wall, works that up to Tanoff at the near point, who slaps it farther, finds a man in the slot. Can't turn it, though, all the way on goal. Raiders buzzing behind the net, looking for a wraparound, and then a teammate in front, and they're pushed out there by the Enforcers goaltender, who keeps pushing Raiders players in front. Doesn't see the puck come in, but it hits a loose stick in front and stays out. Now the Raiders try a no-look backhand shot by Koslewski there. The Enforcers goaltender tries to cover up there. The puck's still loose, comes up to the slot. Tanoff just works that farther into the zone. This is wild, folks, in the blue paint of the Enforcers right now. Enforcers still can't clear the zone. It's worked back over to Marchuka. Marchuka in the slot. Puck comes off his stick, and now the Enforcers are able to get that out of the zone. And Tanoff will have to hurry back and beat his man to the puck. He gets it onto the forehand, does Tanoff. He sends a diagonal pass up to Kalemba, who takes a heavy hit there, but keeps the puck for the Raiders. It's Marchuka in the slot again. He tries a shot. It goes up and over the cage after it was deflected. Still Marchuka on the puck. The Enforcers take over at the near dot, and they still have possession in their own end, but they haven't gotten out of the zone just yet. It comes up to Hyder, who slaps that puck in farther. And then the Enforcers take over in the slot, and they are going to be able to work this out of their zone and maybe get a line change out of it. Enforcers, though, taking some heavy punishment by Koslewski at the blue line. Raiders take over in the offensive zone. It comes to Vigliotti, rolls off his stick in the near half wall, and then he gets it back onto the forehand. Bad angle shot, sees him go up over the cage, might have gotten a deflection off the goalie, and now Hyder leaves the puck farther. Comes over to Berliner in the slot, goes just wide of the cage after he couldn't quite handle the hot pass from the far corner. Fauci tries to work it out deeper. Vigliotti takes over on the puck, works it over to Fauci. Long shot in, stick to side there by the Enforcers goaltender. It's Berliner now, tries to work the puck out of the near corner. Can't quite work that up. Tanoff gets it into the near point, sends it deeper, but it hits a stick. Raiders still have the puck in the offensive zone here. One-timer comes in, it's a score. That's a Matthew Fauci goal again. Oh my, the Raiders on the one-timer. Boy, they had tilted the ice there. And the Raiders score to make this 3-1, and we can update that scoreboard for both teams now. It's Raiders 3, Enforcers 1, 8:46 left to go here in the first period. Suing faceoff's going to be Marchuki. He's got Meyerowicz and Koszlewski out there with him. Steinfink and Gosser out with them as well. Puck comes all the way across the end line. No icing coming as it hit a stick on its way through. Koszlewski now tries to pick up the puck in his own end. Goes past everyone there. And the Raiders will pick up in their own end again and try and work that puck up and out. Instead, it comes to the near point. It's dumped right back in by the Enforcers. Now it's Gosser on the puck. On the forehand, he's going to skate this up almost out of the zone and entirely out of the zone. He pushes it up to Koszlewski, who takes over at the blue line. Koszlewski loads up on the forehand. Shots fumbled there. Nice save, but the rebound was there waiting. The Enforcers get to it first, and now they try and jam it out of the zone. It sits at the near half wall, at least momentarily. Still at the near half wall, and then the Raiders work it in deeper, but can't get it quite on the forehand, and the Enforcers are just going to flick that up and out of the zone. Gosser sees that puck escape the zone by an inch, and then has to dump it in as he had two Enforcers coming toward him and had to buy a little bit of time for himself as it was going to be a 2-on-1 had he lost possession. Tactical offside by him there, and it's a good play by the veteran defenseman. It'll be Fauci now, just outside his offensive blue line. He's got Vigliotti and Bizzarro out there with him, Tanoff and Hyder as the defensive pairing. Puck's dropped, 7:55 left to go here in the first. Enforcers try and win that forward. Instead, the Raiders come away with it on the stick of Fauci, crosses the offensive blue line, looks into the slot. Just a bit behind Vigliotti as he had to avoid a couple Enforcers sticks, and Vigliotti goes to collect at the near half wall. Still Vigliotti in the near corner. Puck gets jammed up to the near point. Tanoff will curl out of the zone to try and pick up the puck there. Heavy hitting here in the neutral zone. Enforcers look to come away with it. Instead, it's Vigliotti who tries to push the puck farther. He does. He's at the blue line. He dumps it in. Now it's Bizzarro with the puck on his stick at the near corner. Bizzarro trying to work that into the slot. Vigliotti bodies his man in the slot. Now it's Bizzarro, but we're going to get a call here. Looks like it's going to be an interference call as Vigliotti had posted up a player in the blue paint, but he had been knocked over, and we'll get the call now with 7:14 left to go. We have our first penalty in the game. It's Vigliotti going to the box for 2 for interference. So it'll be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders, but it does give us time to remind you. You're watching Midnight Sports. For every like, follow, or subscription we get, all add an extra R to sports. Midnight Sports. Now it's Fauci over at the far dot in the defensive zone, trying to win this on the backhand. He's got Gosser and Bizzarro and Steinfink out there with him. Raiders need to kill this penalty to avoid giving any momentum back to the Enforcers. Enforcers take over at the end boards. They look to cycle the puck up and to the near point. Instead, Bizzarro comes away with it. Bizzarro across the neutral zone with speed. He dangles around his man. He's in on the goalie, who just sticks that away, and then the shot comes in, goes just wide of the cage, it looks like. But it's gobbled up in the leg pads of the Enforcers goalie, and we'll get a stoppage in play with 6:58 left to go. Folks at home, I know you didn't tune in tonight just to see the backs of everyone on the benches and at the scoreboard, and I promise you this is just about the best vantage point we have. And so that's why we're bringing it to you from this vantage point. And suing faceoffs, sees a shot right in on goal, saved nicely there by the Enforcers goaltender. 6:56 left to go. And we'll do it all over again. That one's run by the Enforcers, and they're going to skate this puck up and out of the zone. They're through the neutral zone. They've got a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Instead, Steinfink with a wonderful back check is able to keep his man from getting the puck on a stick to make the pass, and the Raiders jam it around weak side. There, the Enforcers try and take over. Instead, it finds a Raiders stick and then an Enforcer stick. They're still in the zone. Will this puck get across the blue line? No, it does not. The Enforcers keep the zone. Shot comes in on Speaker. It goes wide of the cage, and now the Enforcers look to pick up in the offensive zone again. Steinfink all over his man. Enforcers work that into Speaker, who just sticks that to the end boards, and now the puck comes all the way around up to the blue line, but not out just yet. Enforcers still working hard in the offensive zone here. Bizzarro all over his man. He's able to jam that out of the zone, and the Enforcers will have to clear the zone. They do. Enforcers now with the puck in the high slot, looking to get that puck all the way in. Instead, Marchuka comes, and he gets center ice. Can't dump it any farther, though, as 3 Enforcers are all over him. Gosser takes over in his own zone. Gosser now works that puck up to center ice. Marchuka takes over at the offensive blue line. He curls into the slot. He loads up on the wrist shot. Takes a heavy hit there as he's rubbed off the puck. The Enforcers go to pick up in the near corner. Still Enforcers in the near corner. They circle behind their net and look to get this up and out of the zone. They do. It's a 2-on-2 developing. Hyder and Gosler back. Hyder's able to stick the puck away from his man at first, and then the puck comes in on Speaker, and he just sticks it aside there. Still Enforcers with the puck at the end boards. Still Enforcers looking for that slot pass. Raiders all over their men down there, as Meyerowicz takes his man out of the play, at least momentarily, and then Gossler fires in for support, works that up farther to Meyerowicz, who tries to dance around his man, stick just a little bit too far extended to do much with the puck, so Gossler comes in, pounds it off the boards, and then the shot comes in, hits Gossler in front, and Marchuka takes over. He's one-on-one, puck just a little bit out of his grasp, though, as the Enforcers look to clear the zone. Puck comes up to the blue line and out. The Enforcers dump that all the way in. We should get an icing call here. We do at 5:03 left to go here in the first period. Still Raiders 3, Enforcers 1. Well, it'll be an offensive zone draw here for the Raiders. And they will look to do their best to get another shot on goal. It's Marchuka, Tanoff, Steinfink. Puck comes up with Steinfink at the far point. He sends a long shot in. It's deflected wide of the cage. Marchuka picks it up. Cycles that puck over. Pass comes into the slot. Hits a skate there. Can't be directed on goal by Kalemba. Instead, the Enforcers take over, and they're going to skate this out of their zone. Tanoff and Steinfink get back. It's a 2-on-2 developing here for the Enforcers as they gain the offensive zone. Kalemba is able to take his man out of the play, and Tanoff sends that over to Steinfink. Steinfink on the backhand works it up to the far point. Not out just yet until Steinfink gets it back, and now he's on the forehand. He banks that pass up to Meyerowicz, who gives chase. He's trying to get to this puck before the Enforcers man does. Unable to do so as the Enforcers now send that puck up to the near point, not out. Tanoff jams it right back into the offensive zone. Enforcers will take over in the near corner. Enforcers will try and work that puck up and out, and they do into the high slot, and then they're collapsed on by the Raiders, who send it right back the other way just a little bit too soon, so we'll get an offside call at 4:14 left to go here in the first period. Well, this is going to be a face-off just outside the offensive zone here for the Raiders, and it's going to be Berliner, Bizarro, and Vigliotti out there as the forwards. Steinfink and Gossler as the defensive pair. Raiders win that forward. It's Bizarro now in the high slot on the backhand, looking to send a blind shot in on goal. It was going to be screened, but it hit a body in front, and now the Raiders have to clear the zone as Gossler takes over at his own blue line. He turns with the puck, sends it in on the backhand a little bit deeper, but the Enforcers cut out the play immediately, and Gossler tracks back to pick up the puck again. Vigliotti there for support. Puck gets dumped in. Enforcers turn at their own end boards. Berliner on the forecheck. He's able to gum up the initial pass and now looks for a teammate in the slot. He finds Bizarro. Bizarro in, tight angle. Can't make the pass to the slot. And the glove comes out from the Enforcers goaltender, and we get a stoppage in play at 3:42 left to go in the first period. It'll be another offensive zone draw here for the Raiders. And it's Berliner, Vigliotti, and Bizarro out there as the forwards. Tanoff and Hyder as the defensive pair. Berliner tries to win that on the backhand. Instead, keeps it to himself. Puck sits at the dot momentarily, and Berliner takes back over. He finds a teammate in the slot. It's Vigliotti for the goal. That's a one-timer there. Lorenzo Vigliotti pots it, and all of a sudden, it's Raiders 4, Enforcers 1. Well, it's got to be a good feeling when you've scored so much in the last 2 weeks that you don't even get your Instagram handle called out. Vigliotti with the goal, and he extends the Raiders' lead to 3 with 3:35 left to go here in the first period. Ensuing faceoff. Marchuka wins that forward. Kalemba gets it back to him. Now Marchuka in the offensive zone. He's on the wrist. He sends that up and over the cage. The Enforcers will look to take over on the weak side. Only make it so far as Hyder, who kicks the puck back into the zone, and then he's helped out there by Koslewski to work that puck farther. Marchuka tries to go around the cage. He tries a bad angle shot there. Hits the goaltender's glove, but it looks to go in. That's another Raiders goal. The Enforcers are protesting, but the Raiders score again there. Unknown who got that one, but it looks like the Raiders now have a 5-1 lead in this game. A little bit of an explanation there at the bench of the Enforcers as to what happened. Kind of a broken play, bad angle shot there. We'll have to check with the scorekeeper afterward to see who potted that one. But the result's the same. The Raiders got that one, and now the Enforcers on the ensuing faceoff break into the zone. Try and get in the slot. It's cut out there, sticked aside there by Speaker as it goes to the end boards. And now puck comes up to the near half wall, not out of the zone yet. Enforcers try and take over there. Tanoff, a one-man wrecking crew out there, takes the puck off his man. Koslewski takes a hard hit there, but doesn't let his man get on the puck immediately. Koslewski now works that over to Kalemba. Kalemba works that puck into the offensive zone, but without possession, and the Enforcers come right back the other way. It's Enforcers now in the neutral zone, only so far as Marchuka, right in front of the Raiders bench here. Puck's chipped up and over everyone and into the offensive zone for the Raiders, and Kalemba gives chase on the forecheck. Puck now comes all the way to the near point and out of the zone. Koshlewski over for cover, and Tanoff finds the puck at the red line, jams it all the way back in with 2:53 as the clock runs in the first period. Kalemba on the forecheck. He's able to take the pass away from his man and gum up the play at the end wall. Now Marchuka's in, trying to get a shot off. His stick gets stopped there, and a nice fencing move by the Enforcers defenseman. And now Tanoff's going to have to fire that puck farther. He finds Marchuka. Marchuka with a screen shot goes up top corner, and it's gloved there by the Enforcers goaltender. So we'll get a stoppage in play at 2:33 left to go here in the first period. Well, the Raiders have that 4-goal lead after some hard work here in the first period, and it's exactly the kind of push that you wanted to see from the Raiders if, in fact, you are a New York City Raiders fan. Suing faceoff's going to be Berliner. He's got Gosler and Steinfink behind him. Fauci and Bizarro as his wingers. Berliner again wins on the backhand. Bizarro pours into the slot, tries a screen shot in. Stays under, it looks like, the goal pad of the goaltender. And everyone runs into the crease and pretends they're not doing anything nefarious. In any event, 2:26 left to go here in the first period. Another stoppage in play after a nice save by the Enforcers goaltender on what was a screen shot. Suing faceoff, again won by Berliner forward. Again, Bizarro comes away with it. Again, tries a screen shot, and this one is also saved by the Enforcers goaltender. Two just grade A saves there from the Enforcers goaltender. Keep this a 4-goal game. Puck stays in the offensive zone for the Raiders, at least momentarily. Enforcers try and work that puck up past the blue line. They do, but only so far as Berliner tries to dump it right back in. Steinfink for support. Puck finds Berliner's stick, but only momentarily as it gets gummed up there. He finds his stick again. He's on the backhand. Look out. He can lift it. He sends a bouncing puck just wide of the cage. 1:54 left to go here in the first period. Puck comes up to the near point, and Steinfink. Steinfink leaves that for Bizarro. Bizarro dances in. He's on the forehand. He's got a tight angle shot. Instead, goes for the one-timer that's shut down. Fauci nearly had a hat trick in the first period here on that one-timer, but another nice save by the Enforcers goaltender keeps this a 4-goal game, and we'll have an icing at 1:31 left to go here in the first. The Enforcers just happy to clear the zone after all that heavy work by the Raiders in the offensive end. And so it's going to be a face-off coming just to the Enforcers goaltender's left with 91 seconds left to go here in the first. It's Marchuka out there. He's got Koshlewski with him, as well as Meyerwich as the forwards. It's Tanoff and Hyder as the defensive pair. Puck's dropped. One there by the Enforcers, only so far as Tanoff. Tanoff lasers one in, just wide of the cage. Now Hyder fires in to keep the puck in the zone. Enforcers come away with it momentarily. Hyder gets a second bite at that apple, and now Marchuka tries to send that over to Koshlewski, just a little bit outside his reach, and the Enforcers will break out of the zone. Enforcers now into the neutral zone. They'd love to get one on the board here with just over a minute left to go. Try and get things closer to even terms. It's Marchuka, though. He finds Meyerwich, takes a heavy hit to dump that puck in, and the Enforcers will take over there. Now it comes right back up to the Raiders, and Tanoff at the red line tries to dump the puck in farther. Now Meyerwich rubs his man out of the play, turns and fires that puck in. The Enforcers now fire it right out. 58 seconds left to go here in the first. It's Enforcers now gaining the offensive zone, but only so far as Marchuka. Pass comes out, shot comes in. Speaker's able to glove that quick shot with 49.5 seconds left to go here in the first. Well, that was a good reaction save there from the Raiders goaltender to keep this a 4-goal game, and it's going to be a defensive zone draw now with Berliner, Vigliotti, Steinfink, Fauci, and Gosler out there as the 5 skaters. Still with the Enforcers at the puck in the zone. The Raiders have done well to limit any Enforcers' chances. Speaker has not had a lot of work tonight, and as witnessed by here, the Raiders coming the other way. Vigliotti just a little bit over the blue line there with 36.6 seconds left. We'll get an offside call. And again, Raiders doing well to push back. Anytime the Enforcers have shown some threat here tonight, bar their 1 goal, the Raiders have pushed right back. It's Berliner now just outside the offensive blue line. Face-off one back to Steinfink. Steinfink takes over the puck there, uses the boards, tries to jam that up to Vigliotti. It's cut out momentarily, and now the Enforcers look to come the other way. Instead, Steinfink with a wonderful back check. 25 seconds left to go here in the first. Fauci finds Vigliotti. Vigliotti goes high over the cage, and now Fauci will pick up the change. He jams that off the side of the cage there, and now the Enforcers get that puck up and out of the zone. It's Gosser tracking back to pick up the puck in the neutral zone. He curls there. He's at the zone, the offensive blue line. All the way into the zone is Gosser. He stops there, sprays ice everywhere, turns, sends a long saucer pass, rink wide, and the Enforcers will try and take over, but that's going to do it here for the first period After one, it's Raiders 5, Enforcers 1 in Freeport, Long Island. Stick around. Puck drop for period 2 coming up next right here on Midnight Sports. Well, while we're waiting for our second period's puck drop, still a minute and 45 seconds left to go in the first intermission here, we can visit in with our second sponsor this evening. Today's game on Midnight Sports is sponsored by Bad Life Hacks. Hockey fans, we all know there are certain helpful shortcuts in life, like packing your own lunch or getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But have you considered adding some bad life hacks to your routine? That's right. Rather than sleep, you could stay up to watch your favorite professional sports team lose, and then the next day, drink 5 to 6 cups of coffee, feel like taking a nap at your desk when the effect wears off, and get the shakes from the caffeine overload. Or rather than leave early for an appointment, you could weave through traffic like a madman, yelling and screaming at every other driver on the road, thereby increasing your blood pressure by 20 points, only to show up at the meeting and realize everyone else is late. It's bad life hacks. They're just like shortcuts, but longer. Well, period 2 started a little sooner than advertised. You haven't missed much if you're just getting back to the couch with a frosty adult beverage. The Raiders now pouring into the offensive zone on the stick of Meyerowicz. Leaves for Marchuka. Comes back to Meyerowicz on the stick. Tries to get a shot in. Does. Goes just wide of the cage. 14:30 left to go here in the second period. Hyder able to pinch in and find Marchuka. Marchuka tries to dance around his man. Takes a heavy hit there. No call coming, despite the fact that he had released the puck a second or two earlier. That's just the way this game's going to be officiated here. Shot comes in there from Tanoff, but all the Raiders had not cleared the zone, so we'll get a stoppage in play with 14:11 left to go here in the second period. Well, it's going to be Steinfink, Fauci, Pizarro, Vigliotti, and Gossler out there as the 5 skaters for the Raiders. Nearly a minute gone here in the second. Fauci wins that face-off back to Steinfink. Takes a heavy hit there, trying to work the puck farther. Enforcers try and come through the neutral zone. Gummed up there pretty heavily by the Raiders, who turn it the other way. Pizarro stick tap to himself into the zone now. He's got Vigliotti screaming towards the net. Pizarro goes all the way around the net, tries to find Gossler at the point. Instead, puck just evades him, and it's a one-on-one developing here for the Enforcers. Steinfink expertly turns his man to the outside and waits for the Raiders to get back for help. Steinfink still on the puck. Enforcers definitely had some strategy given to them during that intermission as they've come out with their hair on fire. Instead, though, it's Fauci through the neutral zone on the backhand, dumps that puck in. Vigliotti gives chase there. Vigliotti all over the puck, gets there first, finds Pizarro in the slot. Handcuffed a little bit there, so Gossler, look out, long shot in. Sticked aside nicely by the Enforcers goaltender. Now the Raiders try and work that puck deeper. Comes to Fauci at the end boards. He takes a heavy hit there. That's going to be a penalty there on the Enforcers. And with that delayed penalty, there's now some pushing and shoving going on here as the Enforcers look to let everyone know that they're not going to go quietly into this game. So we'll just have to see what the ensuing paperwork's going to be here at the scorer's booth. Well, the Enforcers are told And the Raiders are told who's going to the box. Looks like it's an enforcer for right now, as the referees work out who got what penalty. Well, it looks like it'll be one enforcer to the box, Bigliotti to the box as well for the ensuing scrum. But the men in stripes still discussing what sort of justice they will mete out here with 13:21 left to go in the second. Discussing perhaps whether one team is going to get in just a little bit more trouble than the other. Still a discussion going on, and it looks like there's a slash being called at the very least. What those gestures are, a rough on this side. By this side, I mean this side of the rink, rough on Bigliotti. And so we'll see what they throw up on the board here. No skaters yet out on the ice. Coaches are using this as a bit of a impromptu timeout to get some information from the officials and to their own skaters. Well, all we know for sure is there is one enforcer in the box and Bigliotti in the box for the Raiders. Let's see how many skaters pour over the boards here for the Raiders for the ensuing faceoff. There are 4 on the ice right now. Presumably, there will be a 5th if the penalties are unbalanced. There goes Berliner out there to complete the matched set for the Raiders. So Raiders will have 5 skaters out there as far as the Raiders bench is concerned. Now the scorekeepers working hard here to take their instructions from the officials. Well, this pause does give us time to just say happy holidays and a big thank you to all those viewers out there on Midnight Sports. If it weren't for you, I would just be talking to myself. So thanks for watching. Still working it out here at the scorekeeper's table as they look to put some up on the board. All right, now the explanations go to the benches after some conversation with the official scorer. Well, 2 minutes up on the board for Bigliotti. Let's see what gets lit up here in neon or just LED for the enforcers. Writing it down here on the scorer sheet. And it looks like the officials are taking a little extra time at the enforcer's bench, which can mean one of 2 things. Either there's going to be some extra enforcer penalties, or the explanation needs to be a bit longer for an infraction that the bench saw, but not the officials. Well, there it is on the board. 4 minutes to the enforcers. So, presumably, the Raiders will have some time up a skater, depending on what happens from here on out. Still a long stoppage in play here, as all that justice gets meted out. All right, well, still 5 Raiders on the ice here. So one's got to presume this is going to be a penalty that will require a whistle for Bigliotti to get out of the box after his 2 minutes are up. And the enforcers send 2 men over the boards. And 2 more. So it should be 5-on-4 hockey, but that's unclear. Now Meyerowicz will leave the ice. All right, 4-on-4 makes a lot of sense. And the Bigliotti penalty expires. The Raiders then will be up a man, assuming no more justice in the meantime. 13:20, let's get your reset here. 13:21 left to go here in the second period. Raiders 5, Enforcers 1. And the Enforcers go to the box for 4 minutes. Raiders go for 2. So we have 4-on-4 hockey for 2 minutes here. Marchuka, long shot in, kicked aside there. Bizarro on the follow-up, also kicked aside. Bizarro tries to pick up in the near corner now that we're back to live hockey instead of me just talking your ear off. It's Marchuka now, works that point-to-point. He finds Tanoff, lasers that a one-timer off the stick of Bizarro, saved nicely. 13:01 left to go here in the second. Still 1:40 left to go with 4-on-4 hockey. And a reminder to our viewers, if a goal is scored 4-on-4, or any even number, in fact, No penalty gets wiped on that. And so it'll be Berliner, again, at the far offensive dot to take this draw. Berliner wins that back over to Tanoff. Tanoff on the forehand. Tries to work that puck in deeper. He does. Still in the forehand. Long shot in. It's sticked aside there by the Enforcers goaltender and then covered up after the Berliner rebound. So we'll do it all over again 8 seconds later. 12:53 left to go here in the second period. The surest sign that the scorers have worked out the paperwork and the scoreboard is that the music has returned during stops in play. Tanoff now goes rink wide, finds Pizarro on the backhand. Pizarro goes to collect at the near half wall, cycles that puck deeper over to Berliner. Still 4-on-4 hockey out there, so the Enforcers give the Raiders a little bit of berth. That pass comes out of the zone. Marchuka tracks back to pick it up in the neutral zone. It's Marchuka now on the forehand. Works that point-to-point over to Tanoff. Tanoff takes over on the forehand. He finds Pizarro. Puck comes off his stick, and it's chopped out by the Enforcers, but without possession. And so Marchuka picks it up again. Marchuka on the puck with speed now, just a bit offside, so we'll get a stoppage in play at 12:23 left to go, and a face-off coming just outside the Raiders' zone. Still 1:01 left to go with 4-on-4 hockey. Bigliotti stays in the box, but once he's out, the Raiders will have 2 minutes up an extra man. Ensuing faceoff is going to be Fauci right here in front of the Raiders bench. Fauci tries to win that forward, comes to Koslevsky, but only momentarily as the Enforcers come right back the other way, and they turn in the offensive zone. Enforcers trying to put some shots on goal now. Puck's rubbed off a stick there, though, by Fauci and Steinfink, and out of the zone. Enforcers will have to collect at center ice. A lot of ice out there right now, 4-on-4 hockey, but not so much that we don't get an offside call, as an Enforcer just missed getting back onside when the puck was dumped in from center ice by his teammate. So 12:06 left to go in what's become a very choppy second period. It'll be Fauci just outside his defensive zone to take that draw. Puck now comes to center ice. Enforcers possession there. They dump it in, but not so far as the blue line as Koslevsky turns with the puck, sends that shot high over the cage. Well, all the stoppages in play, clearly making it a little harder to talk tonight, too. Gosser now with the puck at the offensive blue line. Watch out. Laser wrist shot comes in. It's blockered aside, but not covered just yet. Koslevsky works that puck around to the far point. Puck sits at the far point. Now goes point-to-point over to Gosser. Look out again. Wrist shot comes in. He goes low, looking for that rebound as it bounces around in the blue paint. Saved twice. And we'll get a stoppage in play now as the puck gets stuck on the back of the net. Just 7 seconds left to go here in the 4-on-4 hockey. 11:28 left to go here in the second period, and the Raiders will get some new skaters out there. It'll be Meyerowicz, Berliner, Marchuka, and Tanoff will stay. Offensive zone draw. Looks like it'll be Berliner at the far dot, winning this on the backhand, or trying to. Instead, it's pushed forward. Berliner picks it up in the slot, tries to elevate the backhand, instead goes low, and it's saved there. 5-on-4 hockey now coming up for the Raiders as Marchuka jumps that puck in deeper over to Berliner. Berliner tries to pick up at the near half wall. Instead, he goes to the far point. Tanoff lasers one in. It's deflected nicely there by Meyerowicz, but an even better save by the Enforcers goaltender keeps this a 4-goal game. 1:52 left to go on the power play here for the Raiders. 11:13 left to go in the second. And it'll be Berliner, Pizarro, Tanoff, Meyerowicz, and Marchuka out there. Berliner now tries to win that back. Enforcers come away with it, but only so far as the far point. Tanoff collects the puck calmly, sends that rink wide. Berliner will now have to pick up at the near half wall. He circles with the puck. He's got Meyerowicz below. He finds him at the end boards. Meyerowicz picks it up on the forehand, looks to send that all the way around on goal. He does, and it's deflected there off the goaltender's blocker, and now the puck comes out of the zone. The Enforcers do clear. Marchuka across center ice. Crosses the blue line. He's on the backhand. He tries to go up and over the shoulder. Instead, hits the side of the cage. And now it's Pizarro sending one in on goal. And it's gloved there. And we'll get a stoppage in play at 11:16 left to go on the power play. 10:38 left to go in the second period. As the Raiders are buzzing, the Enforcers goaltender so far keeping them out on this power play. Offensive zone draw coming up at the far dot for the Raiders. It'll be Fauci, Kalemba, Koslevsky, Steinfink, Gosler as the 5 skaters. Fauci looking to win this over to the slot on the backhand. He's set up, ready to go. He does win it to the slot, but the Enforcers get there first and now try and get the puck out of the zone. Instead, heavy slap shot by Gosler comes in, and it's sticked aside by the Enforcers goaltender. Fauci now dumps that puck in deeper. Kalemba goes to collect, works it right back to Fauci. Fauci on the puck now, tries to send it in again, and it's cut out by the Enforcers. And now Kalemba in for support, but not before the Enforcers send that all the way down to the other end of the rink. And we should get an icing call here as the puck crosses the end line with 10:15 left to go in the second period. It'll be an icing on the enforcers and an offensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders. 54 seconds left to go on the man advantage to the Raiders. As we get set here for another offensive zone draw. It's Fauci on the backhand trying to win this over to Kalemba. He does. Kalemba fires in with the puck, works it deeper, and back to Fauci. Fauci in, tries a bad angle shot, trying to go just under the shoulder of the enforcer's goaltender. Instead, another shot comes in, and it's saved nicely there as there's more jostling in the blue paint. But we get the whistle with 10:03 left to go here in the second period. The enforcers swarm around their goaltender to try and protect him from this Raiders onslaught. It's going to be an offensive zone draw. Vigliotti, Bizzarro, Berliner out there as the forwards. Steinfink and Gosser. It'll be Berliner at the far dot. Tries to win this on the backhand. He does. The enforcers fire forward with that, but it's cut out by Gosser and kept in the zone, at least momentarily. Berliner now with the long reach, keeps the puck in the zone, goes all the way to the near corner and then the end boards. Vigliotti pulls up on what would have been a massive hit, but probably a penalty, and now they work in. Nice save there by the enforcer's goaltender, keeps that out. Vigliotti again, hits the mask of the goaltender that time. Slapper comes in from Gosser, and that one's gobbled up there by the enforcer's goaltender. Well, it's rapid fire out there. The enforcer's goaltender equal to the task with just 19 seconds left to go here on the power play for the Raiders. 9:41 left to go in the second period. Well, it's Berliner at the far dot. He's got Vigliotti and Bizzarro still out there with him. Hyder and Tanoff behind them. Enforcers get set. They get onside. Puck's dropped. Raiders try and win that and send a shot on goal. It sits in the mid slot there. It's chopped out of air, but out of the zone finally by the enforcers, and Hyder will have to turn and leave that for Vigliotti. Vigliotti now dumps that puck in deeper. 19 seconds left to go on this power play as the puck hits the face mask again of the enforcer's goaltender. Clock's not going, though, as the puck sits on the back of the net, and now they'll run the clock just a bit. Try and make up for not starting it at puck drop. That's a difficult job, ladies and gentlemen, running that clock and running the score sheet at the same time. And so we'll get set here with 9:34 left to go in the second. 17 seconds now on the power play for the Raiders. It's Marchuka. Enforcers now getting a man out there. It looks like it's going to be 5-on-5 hockey, so they're going to judge the penalty to be over after the clock didn't run, which is probably the fair outcome there. Puck comes up to Hyder at the near point. Instead, the enforcers come away with it. They're through with speed. It's a 2-on-1. They're in all alone on the slot. They try and send one up on Speaker. He's able to kick that aside and then glove it aside. And the enforcers try and get that puck out to the point. Instead, the Raiders all over them after giving up a scoring chance. One of their very few they've given up in this game thus far. Hyder on the puck. Tries to work that puck up to Kalemba. He finds him there. Puck sits at the near half wall. Now the enforcer's in. They send a shot in, and they beat Speaker that time. That's an enforcer's goal. 9:08 left to go here in the second. It's enforcers 2, Raiders 5. Well, just when you thought everything was settled here, it wasn't. The enforcers pour right back in. The Raiders bench just unhappy with it. And so, with 9:08 now in the second period, it's just a 3-goal game. Raiders will look to fire right back here. It'll be Marchuka at center ice. Take this face-off. He's got Koslewski and Kalemba out there with him as the forwards. Puck one back to the defensive pair of Tanoff and Hyder. Raiders try and work that farther in the neutral zone. Marchuka has the puck now on his stick. Gains the offensive zone, and it's chipped up, but not just out yet. Glove down by the enforcers and now out of the zone. They come with speed. They've got a taste for more after that goal they scored just a minute ago. Raiders now try and pick up the puck behind their own net to cut out the threat. They try a breakout pass. Instead, find an enforcer in the slot. That shot goes wide, and the Raiders will have to collect in their own zone and try and work that up deeper again. Out of the zone, that is. Enforcer's still with the puck, trying to curl in. Instead, it comes to Marchuka at the end boards, who tries to cycle that. An enforcer's stick gets in the way, though. Enforcers look to take over there. They take over at the far point. Slapper comes in. This hit just a bit, and it finds a Raiders stick in the defensive end, and now it's chipped up, but not out of the zone until Koslewski gets there and is able to work that to center ice. Enforcers take over again. Raiders just need a bit of a breather out of the defensive zone right now as the enforcers are buzzing. They've tilted the ice right into the defensive zone of the Raiders. Hyder turns to try and pick up the puck, comes all the way over to Tanoff, who gets on the forehand and works that puck over to the far half wall, and then Marchuka takes over with speed. This is exactly the pressure release they need. It's a 2-on-0 now. Marchuka in, all alone, tries to go up. A wonderful stick save there by the Enforcers goaltenders. The only thing that kept that puck out. Gosler now fires in. The puck goes all the way around the net. Koslevsky picks up the puck, works it up to the point. A little too far for Steinfink, and now the Enforcers will try and turn with it. Instead, Steinfink skates right in front of his man and is able to keep him off the puck and then cycle it over for another Raiders player. Let's see, it's Marchuka who picks it up, taps it farther for Kalemba, who picks up the puck on the forehand, chips it around his man and out of the zone. Puck comes right back in, but the Enforcers are offside, and so, with half the game gone, just 7:28 left to go here in the second period, we're halfway through this one. It's Raiders 5, Enforcers 2, but the Enforcers have definitely turned the dial up a notch now, and they're looking to cut this lead even farther here in the second period. It'll be Berliner, Fauci, Pizarro as the forwards, and it comes to Berliner after the drop. He works forward through the neutral zone. He's got Pizarro and Fauci pouring into the zone with him. He's got Fauci in the slot, passes it to him, just misses the stick a bit, and Fauci couldn't turn the backhand on net. The Enforcers come away with it. They're in the neutral zone now with some speed. Cut out there by Steinfink, who forces his man to dump it. Gosler turns for support and picks up the puck onto his forehand. He's got Fauci at the near half wall, works it up to him. Fauci works it out of the zone. Enforcers take over. Pizarro, though, with the puck now into the offensive zone. It's a mini break for Pizarro. Pizarro dances around his man, and he scores. That's a Raiders goal. Pizarro gets it back almost immediately. Oh, a wonderful pass there through the neutral zone. And Pizarro was set free into the offensive zone, and he makes no mistake about it. It's Raiders 6, Enforcers 2, with 6:51 left to go here in the second period. Ensuing faceoff's going to be Marchuka, Meyerowicz, Koslevsky, Tanoff, and Hyder out there. It will be Marchuka, wins that back over to Tanoff. Has to hurry to get on that puck before the Enforcers. He does. Works it to Meyerowicz. Wonderful no-look pass there to Marchuka. Marchuka now into the offensive zone. Marchuka in the offensive zone tries to leave it for Koslevsky. Instead, the Enforcers turn the other way. They dump that puck in. It looks like it's going to go wide of the cage. Nope, it was going to be on net, so Speaker had to stick that one aside, and now the Raiders are able to break out the other way. Marchuka sends that pass back over to Hyder. Hyder picks up the puck at the red line. He's on the forehand into the offensive zone. He curls into the slot. He's looking to send a wrister on. It goes just over the glove. It hits the glove of the Enforcers goaltender and then goes over the cage. Now Tanoff will have to curl back into his own zone to pick up the release from the Enforcers. Enforcers buzzing all around him, but he's able to work it up to Koslevsky. Koslevsky on the puck now. He's on the forehand looking to send something in or find a teammate in the slot. He goes behind the net. Tries to find Meyerowicz there, who had his stick lifted at the last second. Hyder couldn't keep the zone there because the puck was bouncing as it came up to the far point, and now Marchuka turns. He has to wait for his teammates to clear. He does. Wonderful skating clinic put on by Marchuka there as he gains the zone. He's on the backhand, tries to lift this up and over, hits the face mask of the goaltender there. Koslevsky's there for the rebound, snaps one on goal, and it's stopped there with 5:46 left to go here in the second period. Well, some wonderful skating there by Marchuka. And equally wonderful goaltending there by the Enforcers goaltender to keep this a 4-goal game. Well, ensuing faceoff's going to be Berliner. He's got Steinfink and Gosler out as a defensive pair. Bigliotti and Fauci out as his forwards. Berliner tries to win that into the slot. Instead, it comes up to Gosler, handcuffed a little bit by the pass, but still is able to dump that in deeper, and Fauci goes to collect. He leaves that for Berliner, tries to send that to Bigliotti. Bigliotti tries to send it back to Fauci. Enforcers all over them right now at the end boards. They work that up, not out of the zone just yet. Dumped in deeper, and it's gloved there on the dump in from Gosler by the Enforcers goaltender, and so we get another stoppage in play with 5:21 left to go here in the second period. Well, ensuing face-off again. Berliner wins that again, and he curls in, tries to send that to the slot. Gosler will pick up on the far side at the far half wall. Now Bigliotti back at the point for support. He dumps that puck in and gives chase. Puck worked up to the far corner, but not out yet. Gosler tries to find a stick in front. Misses everybody through the blue paint, though, and Fauci leaves it for Berliner, who flicks a puck on net just wide, and now comes to Bigliotti at the far half wall. Puck sits in the slot momentarily. Enforcers try and pound that puck out. Comes over to the near point. Steinfink has the puck. He has to back out of the zone as it just crossed the blue line, and Steinfink will go point to Fauci. Fauci on the backhand, diagonally works that up through the neutral zone. Nobody home there, though, as the Enforcers try and pound that puck in deeper. They cross the blue line. No call coming as an Enforcer got tripped up at the blue line, and Steinfink tries to work the puck out of his own zone. Instead, we'll get a whistle. Looks like it'll be offside now. Nope, it's going to be a slashing call. Interesting, right at the blue line. We'll see who's going to the box, as there were plenty of players jostling around the net. But in the end, it looks like it's going to be 2 minutes to Fauci for slashing there with 4:38 left to go here in the second period. That's going to be a defensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders. It'll be to Speaker's left. Now Fauci into the box. 4 Raiders skaters on the ice to try and kill this one off. It's Steinfink, Gosler, Marchuka, and Meyerowicz. And it'll be Marchuka at the near dot, trying to win this safely over to the corner. Puck's dropped. It's one forward by the Enforcers, but taken over by Gosler, who works that over to Meyerowicz. Not out of the zone just yet. Now it comes to Steinfink. Steinfink turns and tries to send that out of the zone. Instead, shot comes in on Speaker. Oh, it went through, somehow through his equipment, and that is an Enforcer's goal. And the Enforcers just will not quit here in the second period. It's Enforcers 3, Raiders 6. That's a power play goal for the Enforcers. So back to a 3-goal game here for the Raiders. And as before, we'll just have to see what kind of pushback those Raiders have after another Enforcers goal. Well, it'll be Marchuka at the dot here as we get all the penalty box doors closed and ready to roll. It's Koslewski, Meyerowicz, Tanoff, and Hyder. Puck one forward by the Raiders into the offensive zone, but without possession. Now comes into the slot. All alone is Koslewski there. A 10-bell save by the Enforcers goaltender on the Koslewski backhand. Keeps this a 3-goal game. Now the Enforcers look to come back the other way. It's a 2-on-2 if they hurry. They're through the neutral zone with some speed. Try a screen shot. Instead, Gosler and Hyder, excuse me, not Gosler, it was Hyder back, and he was able to cut out the threat. A wonderful stick by Blake Hyder keeps that puck out of the zone. Now the Raiders looking to send it farther. Hyder up for Koslewski. Tanoff back for support. Hyder now tries to work the puck farther. Instead, the Enforcers look to send a tight angle shot in on Speaker. It goes through the blue paint. Nobody home there. And now turning with it is Marchuka. He's got speed. He's hooked there. No call coming. He works his way to the slot. He's in all alone. He goes up, and it looks to be over the goaltender, and then collects his own rebound and sends that to the slot. Now the puck comes out of the zone. He was inches away from scoring there. Just barely missed the net after the goaltender made himself big. Raiders pick up the puck. They dump that all the way into the zone. 3:28 left to go in this one as the Enforcers goaltender is out to stop that puck. Marchuka now curls around, sends one into the blue paint. Rebound sitting there in the blue paint. Nobody home to poke that in. Meyerowicz works that up to the far point. Puck now comes in. It takes one deflection, and then it finds the stick of Jake Meyerowicz, and he puts it home on the rebound. That's the Raiders' goal. Wow, Meyerowicz picked up the loose change there at the far dot and was able to pot that one, and we're right back to a 4-goal lead for the Raiders as the Enforcers had pushed hard but couldn't find consecutive goals there as the Raiders just push right on back. So it looks like we're going to get a timeout call here with 3:12 left to go in the second period, and it will let us visit with our third and final sponsor this evening. Today's Game on Midnight Sports is made possible by Reading Glasses. Hockey fans, you've been out to eat and tried it all. The restaurant flashlight, holding the menu as far from your face as your arm stretches, even ordering something you think is likely to be on the menu. But admit it to yourself, it's probably time to get those reading glasses. Sure, you're worried you'll look like Ben Franklin or worse, an old person. But there's something freeing about telling a young whippersnapper to hold their horses because you have to pull out your good eyes. With reading glasses, you don't have to pretend to care anymore. It's reading glasses. If you don't like them, don't worry. You'll be sure to lose them somewhere soon. Well, timeout over. Both teams back out on the ice. It's Pizarro, Fauci, Vigliotti, Steinfink, Gosler for the Raiders. They look to preserve this 4-goal lead. Enforcers now try to pour in the offensive zone. They do. They've gained the zone, but they don't have possession just yet as Steinfink's all over his man, rubbed out of the play, but not before he's able to make a pass up to Vigliotti. Vigliotti tries to work that farther for Fauci, who's able to jam that out of the zone. Pizarro now in on the forecheck as the Enforcers send that right back the other way. Steinfink picks up the puck. He's going to curl behind his own net here with speed. He doesn't even need to reverse. Steinfink now out of his zone, looks for Vigliotti. Puck gets caught in his feet, but he finds it, and he gains the offensive zone. Vigliotti now looking for Pizarro into the slot. One-timer just misses there, but there is a penalty call coming. And still the Raiders in on the zone. And now the Enforcers will go to the box because of the penalty. And so It's going to be Enforcers with 4 men on the ice as they go for 2 minutes. Looks to be for tripping. No signal yet to the scorekeeper. With 2:34 left to go here in the second period, the Raiders are up 4, and they'll be up a man. And it's going to be Berliner, Bizarro, Gosler, Marchuka, and Meyerowicz out there as the power play unit for the Raiders. Berliner looks to win this at the near dot. He wins that back up to Marchuka. Marchuka has the puck on his forehand, leaves it for Gosler. Gosler sends a shot in, tries to go 5-hole, saved nicely there, though, by the Enforcers goaltender. Well, folks, it looks like, in fact, it might be a 5-on-3 here for the Raiders. Only 3 Enforcer skaters out there and certainly 2 penalties on the board. So 5-on-3 here for the Raiders. Berliner wins that back to Gosler. Plenty of ice out there for the Raiders. Marchuka on the puck. He sends a shot in. Just hits the crossbar there. The Raiders will have to pick it up. They do. Gosler pinches in. Picks up the puck. He sends a bad angle shot in to the slot. Immediate shot coming from Bizarro. He gets a second bite at the apple, but hits a body in front. 2:14 left to go here in the second period. A lot of shots coming from the Raiders from grade A positions. Just can't pot one yet. Puck now goes over to Meyerowicz. Leaves it for Bizarro up at the far point. It's Bizarro at the far point. He sends that rink wide. Just misses the stick of Berliner, and Gosler pinches in to pick up the puck. It's Gosler on the forehand. He finds Berliner, in the mid slot. Trez sends that over. Now Marchuka gets it back at the high slot. Marchuka sends it over to Bizarro. He tries a one-timer, tight angle. Now the shot goes high and wide. Sits on the dasher momentarily. Gosler waits for it to come down. Picks up the puck, goes point to point with Marchuka. Marchuka on the puck. He sends a shot in. Rebound sitting there, not picked up by the Raiders. The Enforcers will look to clear this puck. They send it all the way weak side across the ice, and it would be a one-on-one had Marchuka not gotten back. Gosler now picks up the puck, tries to send that across the ice, hits a skate, and now he tries again and finds Marchuka. Marchuka into the zone. He's got Bizarro coming on the wing. It's Bizarro there. He tries to go short side, just misses the net. 45 seconds left to go on this 5-on-3 as the Enforcers are able to clear the zone again. Puck comes to Gosler. Now Gosler has it in the neutral zone. He's on the forehand, looks weak side. He finds Marchuka over there, who's got Meyerowicz there for support. Marchuka pours into the zone, but he's offside there. And with 1:06 left to go here in the second, 32 seconds left to go on the 5-on-3 for the Raiders. The Enforcers have held strong thus far on this penalty kill. Well, this faceoff's going to come just outside the Raiders' offensive zone. It's going to be Fauci, Koshlewski, Kalemba, Tanoff, and Hyder. Koshlewski takes over the puck. He's on the forehand. He's pushed wide, sends a pass in. It bounces off a man, and it goes in. Oh, my, that's Jackson Kalemba there. He pots the goal. He's got that stick right in the right spot, and that is a Raiders goal on the 5-on-3. Raiders pot one. Kalemba crashes the net, and he is in the right place there as the puck comes off his stick and hops up and over the goaltender's equipment. And now it's Raiders 8, Enforcers 3 here in the second period with just under a minute to go. That should wipe one of the 2 penalties to the Enforcers. Still 24 seconds left now on what's a 5-on-4 here for the Raiders. Enforcers win that faceoff, but we get a call very quickly here, as there seems to be some disagreement as to how that puck was dropped. And so, ensuing faceoff here, still back at center ice. We'll do it all over again as 2 seconds came off the board. 56 seconds left to go here in the second period. It's Fauci. Wins that faceoff back to Hyder. And Koshlewski sends it right back to Hyder after the puck comes up to him. Now the Enforcers pour in. They're on the forehand looking to send a shot in on Speaker. He's able to just block that down to the blue paint and leave it so that there's no faceoff on the power play for the Raiders. Enforcers pick up the puck in their own defensive end. Forecheck comes in from the Raiders. Instead, though, the Enforcers turn it right back the other way, and now it's a 2-on-2 developing. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Hyder pushes his man far to the outside. Puck still in the defensive zone here for the Raiders. They'll look to break that out. They send it up to Koshlewski, and a nice pass by him finds Fauci streaking into the offensive zone. He's got a man all over him. He's on the backhand. He's taken out of the play there and pushed into the net, and now the Enforcers goaltender pushes him out of the net. Puck comes in, does not find a Raiders stick in the blue paint, and just 5 seconds left to go here in the second period. The Enforcers come right back the other way. 1 second, and that'll do it as Speaker gloves that shot down as time expired. Well, we would have had to send that one to Toronto, head across the goal line, but it didn't. Speaker made the glove save, and after 2, it's Raiders 8, Enforcers 3. Stick around right here. Period 3 puck drop coming up next. Well, we're getting set here for period 3's puck drop as the second intermission comes to an end. But it does give us time to remind you, you're watching Midnight Sports. If it's not very subtle about how old I look and feel, it's Midnight Sports. Well, center ice faceoff. It's Berliner, tries to win that back to his D pair. Comes up to Pizarro, dumps that puck in, gives chase without possession. Berliner's able to keep the puck at the point. Now he pours in. He's in the high slot, comes off his stick to Steinfink. Steinfink sends a soft shot in. Sneaky shot there. Nearly scored as it was screened by several players and took a direction change. Saved nicely, though, by the Enforcers goaltender. Bigliotti curl to try and get that puck onto his forehand. Takes a heavy hit to send that rink wide, but they do keep the zone to the Raiders. Now Pizarro around his man on the forehand, sends a shot in, near side. Now the puck finds the equipment of the Enforcers goaltender, and another stop there at 14:29 left to go in the third period. Well, Raiders will get some skaters out there now for this offensive zone draw. It's Marchuka, Meyerowicz, Kalemba, Tanoff, and Hyder. Some quick line changes being made to keep the skaters fresh here as the Raiders are down 3 forwards. It's Marchuka at the near dot. Wins that forward, and the puck does leave the zone, though, after hitting a body in front. The Enforcers now come into the offensive zone with speed. They try and round Tanoff. Takes his man out just momentarily. Hits the crossbar there. Does the puck. No good as Marchuka tries to pour the other way. Boy, they're trying to go high glove side on that goal, and they nearly potted one, did the Enforcers. Instead, they'll have to pick up the puck in the neutral zone and deal with Hyder. Now the Enforcers come right back into the offensive zone. Tanoff takes the puck off his man, and he makes it look easy as he reverses around. Finds an Enforcers player there, but Hyder cuts out the threat with his skates. Hyder now at the end wall. Tries to take the puck off his man. The Enforcer still with possession until Marchuka in for support. Puck now sits at the far corner. Comes into the slot. Rubbed off that puck by Meyerowicz where the Enforcers, and Kalemba takes over. He takes a nasty hit there. Penalty coming as he's upended at the red line. And we'll get a stoppage in play with 13:36 left to go in the third period. Kalemba took a heavy hit there to be able to dump that puck into the zone. But he bought his team 2 minutes on the power play there by taking the hit and dumping the puck. 13:36 left to go here in the third period. Enforcers to the box for 2 minutes. It could only be a rough. And so it's going to be an offensive zone draw coming up here for the Raiders. It'll be Berliner, Pizarro, Fauci, Steinfink, and Gossler as the 5 skaters. All the way down at the other end of the ice. It's Berliner now at the far dot, looking to win this into the slot on the backhand. Referee and linesman talking to him just a bit. Looks like the Enforcers sending another player to the box, which tells me the penalty called was a 2 and 10. Which means one Enforcers player will not be eligible to come back for 10 minutes, 10 game minutes, as another player serves his 2 minutes for the penalty. Regardless, you don't have to keep score of that at home. I'll do it for you here in Freeport, Long Island. As we get set on the score sheet, looks like we're ready to roll here. And it'll be Berliner again trying to win this over to the slot on the backhand. Instead, the puck pours forward. Enforcers jam that up to the far half wall, but not past Berliner on the first try. Now the Enforcers try and go around him, and they do right up the slot, and Gossler will turn to pick up the puck in his own end onto the forehand. 13:22 left to go here in the third period. Gossler at his own end boards, waits, sucks his man in behind the goal, tries to get the puck out of the zone. Instead, the Enforcers come the other way. They're on the forehand, look for that into the slot. Puck tipped just wide of the cage. And Steinfink will take over on his forehand. He's skating with speed. He's got Pizarro ahead of him. Steinfink carries the puck all the way across the offensive blue line, pours into the zone, now looks for a pass into the slot. He whips that around the boards so the Raiders can gain possession in the zone. It's Berliner, sends a shot in, hits a man in front. He's going to get a second try at it as he slaps that to the near corner. And now Pizarro gives the shoulder shake to a man in that corner, but the Enforcers come away with it after sending 2 men after him. Enforcers through the neutral zone. It's a 1-on-3 for the Enforcers as they come into the offensive zone with speed. Shot comes in, goes well wide of the cage, as the Raiders just pick up the puck again and get it out of their zone. Still 1 minute and 3 seconds left to go on the Raiders power play as Fauci picks up the puck. He's in the offensive zone. Fauci dangles around his man, goes all the way to the near corner, tries to send something out to the slot. Still with the puck is Fauci. He works it up to the far point. Gossler sends a puck in, hits a stick, and goes well into the roof. So we'll get a stoppage in play with 12:21 left to go in the third period and 50 seconds left to go on the Raiders power play as they'll get some new skaters out there try and maintain or increase this 5-goal lead here in the third period. Looks like it'll be Marchuka, Kalemba, Kushlevsky, Tanoff, and Hyder out there as the 5 Raiders skaters. It's Marchuka at the far dot. Now we get another pause here as the players get set. Now Marchuka wins that over to the slot, finds an enforcer's stick, not out of the zone just yet as Kalemba takes over. Kalemba sends that off the side of the cage and quickly covered by the enforcer's goaltender. 43 seconds left to go now on the power play for the Raiders. 12-14 left to go here in the third period. It's Marchuka. He's going to do it all over again. Tries to turn the body sideways to win the faceoff. He does. Gets it over to Kalemba, who again tries to send something into the slot. Instead hits an enforcer's stick. Raiders pick it right back up, though, in the offensive zone. Hyder dumps it in deep. Kalemba fires in to get to the puck. Tries to send that over to Kushlevsky. Finds him in the slot. Just a bit too far, though, for him to send a shot on goal. Now the puck just sits behind the net. Wraparound try there as the Raiders try and fire it in. Puck, no one can find it. Now Kalemba comes away with it, and he finds Marchuka. Marchuka on the puck. Dangles around one man, and then he dumps the puck into himself in the far corner. He's dancing around one, then two, then three enforcers, but they do finally get him after sending enough men after him, and they'll look to jam this out of the zone. They get that puck out of the zone. Just 5 seconds left to go on the power play for the Raiders as you hear that stick tapping from the Raiders' end. 5-on-5 hockey as Hyder works it over to Kalemba. Kalemba gains the offensive zone, and the Raiders pour in. Kalemba works that in deeper. Now it's all the way to the end boards, and the enforcers try and send it out of the zone. Instead, it's sent right back in on goal and covered up there in the blue paint with 11:16 left to go here in the third period. Well, the Raiders are buzzing. Haven't gotten any grade A chances just yet in the last few minutes to try and pot one back past, this enforcer's goaltender. And so they'll send some new skaters out there, some fresh legs. It's Berliner. He's got Vigliotti and Fauci out there with him. Berliner wins that faceoff, tries to work it over to the far point. Instead, it comes out of the zone, so Steinfink will turn and look for Gosser to go point to point. Gosser receives the Steinfink pass. Gosser now works it up to Berliner, right at center ice. Berliner pours in the offensive zone, screen shot, right in on the goaltender and saved nicely there with 11:01 left to go here in the third period. Now, the Raiders aren't lacking for shots on goal right now. They'd just like to get a little traffic in front of this very good enforcer's goaltender to jam him up just a bit. It'll be Berliner at the near dot in the offensive zone. Still has Fauci and Vigliotti out there with him. Berliner tries to win it over to the blue line. He does. He finds Steinfink there. Steinfink turns and fires it for Fauci on the weak side of the ice. Fauci, strong on his legs, not rubbed off the puck when he dumps it in deeper. Now it's Vigliotti on the forecheck. Tries to leave that for Berliner. Berliner takes over at the end board. Still Berliner, works that up to the blue line, but just past the reach of Steinfink, and now Gosser turns, gives chase all the way down to his end with 10:36 left to go here in the third period. Raiders work that out of their zone. Fauci picks it up, takes it off an enforcer's man, and gains the offensive zone. He's on the forehand. He sends a shot in, and it's sticked aside there by the enforcer's goaltender, who's able to control the rebound with his stick and cover up with 10:26 left to go in the third period. Well, the game's opening up just a bit as we see some end-to-end action here, but it still has largely been tilted in the Raiders' favor in this third period. And it'll be Marchuka at the far dot now. He's got Kushlevsky and Meyerowicz out there with him. Puck comes into the slot. No one has control just yet. Now Marchuka takes over. He sends a shot in, and it's looks like the enforcer's goaltender able to dive on that puck quickly, and we'll get a quick whistle there. Got to protect the players out there. A good quick whistle by the official keeps the enforcer's goaltender safe. With all those skaters around his head. Now it's Marchuka at the dot again. He wins that faceoff and sends it to the far corner. He tries to pick it up to send it in deeper. Enforcers come away with it, but only so far as Hyder at the far point, who jams that puck back into the offensive zone. Kushlevsky now fires in at the end boards. Can't quite get there until the puck comes to Meyerowicz. Tries to flick it farther, and the enforcers take the puck, and they're going to be able to pass this out of the zone. It's enforcers now through the neutral zone. They have a 3-on-2 developing. They're able to dangle at first, but not past Hyder, who turns, finds the puck, and fires it up to Marchuka. Now the Raiders enter the offensive zone. It's Kushlevsky, and he's able to put that up and in. That's a Raiders goal. Nate Kushlevsky scores. A wonderful pass there by Marchuka. It's Marchuka to Kushlevsky, and it's Raiders 9, Enforcers 3 here in the third period with 9:44 left to play. Well, looks like Meyerowicz, Marchuka, and Koszlewski will stay out there. And it's Steinfink and Gosler as the defenders. Raiders win that face-off for it. It comes to Koszlewski, who's in the slot. He sends a backhander in, and it's gobbled up there, again, by the Enforcers goaltender. And we'll get a stoppage in play with 9:39 left to go here in the third period. And it looks like their officials are having a bit of a discussion here. Must have been about the goal scoring of the Raiders. And while they have certainly carried a lot of the offensive play, not clear that it's 30-3 as the scoreboard in the arena currently reads. Now, speaking from experience, sometimes your fingers get cold and you accidentally press the wrong button on that scoreboard, and much to the Raiders' dismay, that's exactly what happened there. In any event, ensuing faceoff sees the Raiders have to turn in their own zone and pick up the puck, but the Enforcers keep the zone. Now they're in the high slot, looking over to the weak side. Puck comes over to Steinfink there, who turns and curls with the puck, cycles it around. Fauci's there to pick it up in the far corner and try and jam it farther. There's a man all over him to keep the puck in the zone. Puck stays in the zone. Enforcers try and come away with it there. Comes into the slot. Couple of sticks get in the way, and the puck just sits in the slot until it's picked up by Dom Bizzarro, kicks it to himself, and then finds Vigliotti streaking. Vigliotti tries to pass that puck back, gains the offensive zone, tries again, just a little bit outside the reach of Bizzarro. Bizzarro now with the puck tries to work it over to Fauci. Fauci takes the puck and works it in deeper. Just kill a little bit more of this clock. Time is on the Raiders' side right now. And it'll be Gosler turning in the neutral zone to pick up the puck on his forehand. He spins that up and out of the zone. Enforcers can't carry it back in the zone just yet until they all clear. They do, and then it's flicked right in. Goes off the skate of Gosler, who then picks up the puck on the forehand. Tries to jam it farther. Instead, the Enforcers keep the zone. They've got a man back post, but the Raiders beat everyone to the puck, and they jam it farther in the zone. Now comes out to Fauci in the slot. Fauci's got Vigliotti streaking up the right wing. He finds him. Vigliotti in. Nearly alone on the forehead. Just misses wide of the cage, does Vigliotti. The Enforcers try and pick up in their defensive end. Instead, Bizzarro takes the puck off his man momentarily, and now Hyder pinches in, sends the puck farther. He finds Bizzarro. Bizzarro turns, sends a shot in, goes up off the crossbar, off the goalie's back, and it stays out of the net. Now the Enforcers with the puck through the neutral zone. They come right back the other way. They're on the forehand. They try and dangle around a man. They're in the slot. Screen shot nearly coming. Just 8 minutes left to go in this game as the Raiders lead 9-3. Vigliotti on the puck now. He's at center ice. Can't quite corral it and settle it down long enough to send a pass up. So the Enforcers come right back the other way. They're in the offensive zone. They get to the slot. Puck just bounces around the zone there momentarily until Marchuka finds it, and he comes right back the other way. He's got Meyerowicz coming into the zone, who's just a hair offside, and play is stopped at 7:40 left to go here in the third period. It'll be a face-off coming just outside the Raiders' offensive zone on that pass that barely missed entering the zone at the right time. So it'll be Marchuka, Meyerowicz, Kalemba as the forward, Steinfink and Gosser as the defensive pair. Raiders try and win that forward into the zone. It's Kalemba who sends that puck in just a bit deeper, and the Enforcers turn it right back the other way. Now the puck sits at the blue line, finds the stick of Gosser. Gosser sends that over to the slot, just barely misses Marchuka, and now a bouncing puck comes into the low slot, but it's settled down by the Enforcers, who are able to send that out of the zone. Gosser picks the puck right back up on his forehand. Gosser sends that puck up and over on a diagonal pass. Misses all sticks, and the Enforcers will send it back the other way, but only so far as Meyerowicz comes right into the offensive zone. He's on the forehand. He's pushed just a bit wide. Tries to dangle around his man. Puck comes into the corner. Now he looks for a stick just outside the blue paint. Enforcers get to it first, and Kalemba fires that puck farther into the zone. Marchuka gives chase. He's on the backhand. He's got Meyerowicz in front of him there. He sends the puck all the way over to the near half wall, and he finds Steinfink at the blue line, but just outside the zone, and Steinfink tries to buy his team a little bit of time to clear the zone. He does. He sends a strong side pass up to Meyerowicz, who just jams the puck in farther. 6:46 left to go here in the third period as the clock continues to tick. Puck comes up to Gosser at the far point. Gosser finds Marchuka. Marchuka on the forehand, looks for a man in front. It's Meyerowicz who gets handcuffed just a bit, can't send that on goal, and the Raiders look to get possession again in the offensive zone. Instead, the Enforcers come away with it with a diagonal pass, settled there, though, at the red line by Gosser, who sends it right back up into the zone, and we get a whistle as the Raiders were just, again, a touch offside with 6:29 left to go here in the third period. It's Raiders 9, Enforcers 3 from the Freeport Recreation Center here in Freeport, Long Island. Well, the skaters are going to be Bizzarro, Vigliotti, Berliner, Tanoff, and Hyder. And it'll be Berliner at the far dot, just outside the offensive zone. He matches off against the Enforcer's face-off man. Berliner wins that over to Tanoff. Tanoff dumps that in once he gains the line. Bigliotti pours it on the forecheck. Comes to Berliner, looks for a man on the weak side. Comes to Bizarro, who golfs that puck, a bouncing puck just high of the cage. Now it comes to Berliner to the side of the cage. He's looking to dig that puck out. He does. Doesn't go for the wraparound. Instead tries to find a man around front. And Bizarro has the puck roll off his stick, and it looks like the Enforcers are going to get this out of the zone. They do. Comes to Tanoff, waits for everyone to clear, and he dumps that puck right back in. 5:53 left to go here in the third period as the Enforcers work that up, but not past Hyder, who pinched and was able to keep the zone. Still Hyder. He's trying to flick that puck farther for Berliner. Rolling puck evades all sticks until it finally finds an Enforcer stick who dumps it out of the zone. Hyder takes over again. He breaks right back into the offensive zone. Hyder with speed on the forehand sends a soft shot in on goal, looking for a kind of a pass rebound to himself, but instead the puck comes all the way out of the zone after the shot, and Tanoff picks up at the red line. Tanoff curls right back into the offensive zone. He's moving with speed. He's in the near corner now as Tanoff sends a pass all the way through the blue paint, and it finds the far point in the stick of Hyder. Now the puck dumped in again by Hyder, and it looks like the Raiders will try and collect there in the near corner. They're harassed by several Enforcers men in that near corner as the puck just rolls and comes out to Hyder again at the far point. It is finally jammed farther by the Enforcers, and Tanoff will have to turn with an Enforcers man on him. He'll curl all the way around his own net on the forehand. He'll just send that puck up to Bigliotti at the red line. Bigliotti tries to send it farther as the Raiders make a change while the puck's right here. Doors open, no whistle coming as the Enforcers pour into the offensive zone. Puck comes to Tanoff, who shepherds it down in the slot and banks it around the boards all the way over to the far point. Not out just yet. The Enforcers pick up the puck there. They're at the far dot, looking to send something in on goal. Some nice passing there by the Enforcers. They try and tuck it in. They do. The one-timer, tuck past Speaker there, right in the blue paint, as the Enforcers were able to score and make this a 5-goal game. Well, some tic-tac-toe passing in the offensive end for the Enforcers. And if you're an Enforcers fan, you love to see that. As they gain the offensive zone, passed it down low, and then from the dot to one-time it right in the blue paint. Regardless, 4.5 minutes left to go in this one. Raiders just need to buy themselves some time and some breathing room as they're in the offensive end. Puck sent all the way over to the near corner. Rolls around to the end boards, finds Marchuka, and then Kalemba behind the net. It's Kalemba who tries to tuck one in on the backhand. It's saved nicely there by the Enforcers goaltender, and the Raiders try and get that back, but the Enforcers come away with it. The Enforcers now into the neutral zone, and they gain the red line and try and carry it with possession into the zone. Instead, it's cut out there by Steinfink and then Marchuka. Marchuka with speed. Under 4 minutes left to go in this one. Marchuka across the red line into the offensive zone. Curls around his man, sends a pass, rink wide, can't quite connect there with Koslewski. And the Raiders just keep the puck in the zone. It's Marchuka now around Allman. He sends a screenshot in, hits a body in front, and goes wide. Scosser now sends one in, looking for a deflection in front off the stick of Koslewski, but it's saved nicely by the Enforcers goaltender. So with 3:35 left to go, it's Raiders 9, Enforcers 4 here in the third period. Well, it'll be Bizarro, Berliner, Tanoff, Fauci, Hyder as the 5 skaters here for the Raiders. And it's Berliner at the far dot, looking to win this one into the slot to want to be one-timed by Bizarro. Instead, the puck goes all the way to the far corner and then comes out to Hyder, who slaps that puck in and finds Fauci at the far half wall. Then it finds an Enforcer's stick, but Bizarro harasses the puck off his man and takes the puck all the way into the far corner. Puck sits in the far corner momentarily until the Enforcers use the glass to get that puck up and out. Now they're in speed through the neutral zone, with speed. Try and leave it for each other in the slot. Instead, Fauci cuts out the threat there. He finds Bizarro, curls into his own zone, does Bizarro, and then pushes the puck up to Berliner. He finds Berliner, breaks in the offensive zone, and Berliner dumps that puck in to kill more time. 3 minutes left to go in this one in the third period. Berliner on the forecheck. Puck finds an Enforcer's stick, who slaps it around, wraps it around the board, but not out. And it comes to Hyder, who goes point to Tanoff. Tanoff works that puck in deeper. Finds Bizarro. Bizarro looking for someone in the slot. Misses all sticks, and it comes up to Hyder. Hyder on the slapper. Sends that puck. Hits a body in front. No deflection coming as the puck sits at the side of the cage. And the Raiders try and bank it off the Enforcers goaltender. Nothing doing there as Fauci takes over at the end boards. Finds Bizarro. Tries to curl around on the forehand. Puck just comes off his stick and he's still got the puck. He sends that all the way across to Fauci, who sends a shot in, hits a body in front again. Might have been knocked down by the Enforcers goaltender. And the puck's still not out, though, as the Raiders try and jam it farther into the zone. It's swept over to Hyder at the far point. Puck sits there. Hyder on the wrister. Tries to send something into the blue paint. Finds a Raiders stick eventually, but not on goal. And it looks like Tanoff just keeps the zone. He kicks it to himself, sends it farther in, but it does eventually find an Enforcer stick as they come right back through the neutral zone. It's the Enforcers now. They gain the zone. They look to be off, no call coming. 1:55 left to go in this game as Berliner takes over in his own end. He's able to skate the puck up and out. He gains the line, dumps in, and the Raiders will get a change here. A much-needed one with 1:45 left to go. Pizarro stays out on the forecheck and even takes over the puck there. Pizarro tries to leave that puck for Marchuka. It comes back to Pizarro. Pizarro on the forehand, looks for the one-timer there for Kishlevsky, unable to get it to him as it just misses his stick. The Enforcers try and take over in their own end. Raiders doing well to kill off this game by spending most of it in the offensive zone. Good forechecking by them. The Enforcers do eventually pass that out of the zone to the neutral zone. Steinfink turns and shepherds that puck wide. Now it comes in, nearly on goal, but the Enforcers are on the backhand, can't pour something in. Gossler working like it's 10 seconds into the first period, tirelessly out there, taking his man off the puck and cutting out the threat. Puck comes to Kishlevsky, who leaves it for Meyerowicz, finds Marchuka. Marchuka pours in the offensive end, lifts the stick of his man and keeps the zone. Now it's Marchuka. He sends a shot in just wide of the cage. 53 seconds left to go in this one as the Enforcers look up in their own zone but can't quite get it out just yet. Puck sits at the blue line and now the Enforcers do cross. The Enforcers through the neutral zone. They're getting onto the forehand, are they? They're pushed wide there by Gossler. Gossler sends the puck to the end boards harmlessly, and the Enforcers try and cycle. Puck comes out to the slot. Now it hits an Enforcer stick. It comes in. It's gloved down there. Looked to be by the defenseman Gossler or Speaker. Unclear, but 30 seconds left to go as the Raiders break out of their zone and send it all the way to the weak side and find Marchuka. Marchuka goes around his man. He's on the backhand, still with the puck there, and he's able to score. Marchuka scores as the puck rolls to his backhand, and with 17.4 seconds left to go, that's the Raiders' goal. Well, that'll be Raiders 10, Enforcers 4, and it's nearly all over here in Freeport as the Raiders take a 6-goal lead with just 17.4 seconds left to go here in the third period. Ensuing faceoff is going to be Berliner as the scorers get that one up on the board. Bigliotti and Fauci out there as the forwards. Tanoff and Hyder as the defensive pair. One forward by the Raiders. Bigliotti on the forecheck. Enforcers get it around him using the boards. Just under 10 seconds left to go as Hyder turns behind his own net. Avoids a big hit there with some strong skating. Is able to jam that puck up. Not out of the zone yet, but that's 1 second and then 0. And that'll do it for the Raiders. They push back in a big way after a couple of losses. It's Raiders 10, Enforcers 4 as we've gone final here in Freeport, Long Island. Thanks so much to all those Midnight Sports viewers out there for tuning in. We'll be back on the air tomorrow, subject to carrier restrictions and availability, at 5:10 p.m. Coming to you from Superior Ice Rink in Kings Park, New York, as the Raiders take on the Long Island Kings. Please join us then. But until then, stay safe.